Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have another review of my SJ Cam SJ4000 Plus. Today I'm going to be flying it, as you can see, on my Syma X8C. Now the reason being, I get a lot of comments every once in a while from folks that have a Syma X8C, but they're always complaining, I can't lift my GoPro or I can't lift my SJ Cam. And 9 times out of 10 I ask them and they reply back, well, yeah, I am using that waterproof case. Well, folks, you're not going scuba diving. It's very important, especially if you're flying with a quadcopter or a drone, to keep whatever equipment that you add to it as light as possible. In this case, get rid of that waterproof case. That thing and the mounts that go with it weigh almost as much as the camera, if not the same as the camera. Just dump that and use the camera only. Now, there are many ways that you can come up with to mount your camera to the quadcopter without using that waterproof case. Just go on YouTube and do a search for GoPro mount for X8C or something similar to that, and you'll find different ways that people have come up to mount their camera to keep it light. I prefer to use, this is called the credit card mount, if you can see here. It is a very jiggly mount, as you can see, and the reason for that jiggliness is very important to dampen out propeller vibrations from the propellers getting down to the camera and causing jello. Now, this credit card mount seems to work very well, at least it does with my RunCam cameras. I want to see if it works as well with my SJ Cam. Now, if you notice, the way I mounted it, the credit card mount to my quadcopter, I use this Velcro cable tie that I get from Walmart. You get 2 big rolls for about $4. It's located in the small electrical repair aisle. That's where it's located. It's very good stuff. I use it for all kinds of means with my quadcopters. It's a good solution for a lot of problems. I even used it to mount the camera to the credit card mount. If you look here, you see how that comes through there? Through the credit card mount and gets wrapped around there, around the camera. And I also put some of these little rubber bands, my wife's hairband rubber bands on there to hold it a little bit more securely. So, and notice that the camera is upside down. Okay, with this camera, with the SJ Cam, and most of these action cams, you can invert the video automatically. It has a selection in the menu to rotate the video, so that you won't have to do that in post-production. So let's go for a flight with the SJ Cam SJ4000 Plus. I am going to fly it only in 1080p, 30 frames per second. I still haven't gotten a U3 card for this yet. I'm still using a Class 10 card, so that's about all that my little Class 10 card can keep up with. And actually, for all intents and purposes, 1080p at 30 frames per second is more than sufficient for most videos on YouTube. You know, you really don't need to go to 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, because that just creates problems for your viewers, for those of them out there that don't have high-speed internet or internet connections that are fast enough to keep up with those higher frame rates of the camera. So let's go for a flight of the SJ Cam SJ4000 Plus. Hope you enjoy this flight. Okay, camera is on and recording. Quadcopter is already bound to this transmitter. I am going to set my timer for about 5-minute flight. That should be more than sufficient to show us a nice video from this camera. Hope you enjoy this flight. Here we go. And right now I'm at about 75% throttle. And we'll take it around the area. I like the X8C. It is a good platform, nice and stable camera platform, and it has great range too. Now, other quadcopters that can lift this camera, or GoPro cameras, and SJ cameras, SJ Cam cameras, and other similar action cameras for that matter, include the MJX X101 and the Tarantula. And as likely, or similarly, the Tarantula and the X101 can both be mounted with this credit card mount if you want to use those particular quadcopters. It mounts the exact same way. as I'm doing it here with the X8C. You just wrap that Velcro around the body of the quadcopter to mount it to your quadcopter. I'm going at a little bit higher rate. There seems to be a wind right there to fight that wind. I hope that I better come down, I'm pretty darn high. I hope that the mounting system I'm using here is minimizing jello. We'll find out shortly here in post-production. I'm lowering the throttle. I'm already at below 50%, trying to bring it back down again. I'm going down a little lower in throttle. I'm going down to 40%. Great quadcopter, the X1 or X8C. Again, you know, this is my favorite budget quadcopter for aerial video purposes. It is the most stable of the flyers and has fantastic range and can lift these bigger cameras, for that matter. That's why I like this quadcopter. And it's relatively inexpensive these days. I guess you can get it with shipping for under $90, which isn't too bad for this big quadcopter. How you doing there? I want to check one thing here. I seem to have a little bit of a drift. That's probably from that camera. So let me put it down. The camera's point a little bit far forward. I'm going to drop it for a second here, folks, and land it. And do a quick recalibration by moving. Syma recalibration of the gyros is done by moving the throttles down and to the right, and holding them there for a few seconds, and that hopefully should take care of that problem. And away we go again. One more flight. My lights are still good. Let's do some low-level flying around the area. Great quadcopter. Let's get some speed on it. Well, speed and X8C aren't synonymous. I'm going to go down the gully here, or fly over the gully at low level, relatively low level. Turn it back toward me. Now notice I'm doing pretty far distant flying. This quadcopter can fly well over 200 meters. Some folks are reporting 300 meters for it. Again, the way that you maintain orientation on this is by its movement alone. If it's moving to the right, all you need to do is turn it to the right to bring it back toward you. And if it's moving to the left, all you got to do is turn it left to bring it back toward you. But all in all, great quadcopter. My 5 minutes should be almost up here. I better check my timer. Yeah. Now, just because the manufacturer says your quadcopter can fly 15 minutes or whatever it claims it can fly, doesn't mean that you should. For the health of your battery and to minimize potential drops from the sky, unintended drops from the sky, I always like to fly about 50% of that, or even less sometimes. Like today, I'm only flying for 5 minutes. Well, there goes my beeper. Although the claim is this quadcopter can fly for much longer. But always land early. It's good for your batteries and it's good for your quadcopter. Okay, I'm going to bring it in. Great quadcopter. I still like this X8C. If you're into video or you want an aerial video platform, this is the one you want. This is the one you want over the X101, over the Tarantula. It is the most stable of the flyers. And there you go. So, see, you can lift the SJ cam very easily. And same with the GoPro. You just got to keep it light, folks. Okay, turn it off. This quadcopter. So that concludes my flight of the SJ Cam SJ4000 Plus on my Syma X8C. It lifts it very easily. Again, just keep it light, folks, and you can lift these heavier action cameras. There's many ways to, like I said, many ways to attach it. Just get rid of that silly waterproof case. You're not going scuba diving. Okay, Quadcopter 101, signing out.